Have You Ever Seen the Rain, John's version. Um, you know, I've heard that, I know that Creedence Clearwater and yourself, you didn't really record a lot of romantic songs, but this, I hear, was a breakup song, really, between you and the band. Am I correct in this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they know that you were writing a breakup song?
No.
Okay.
At least I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know that even years later, um, some of the fellows thought that it was written right in the studio while they were standing there. That's not true.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, there's a pathos here, to me at least, and irony, I suppose. It's sad.
Yeah.
Just young kids in a small town, El Cerrito, California, that had had a dream, especially my brother and I, growing up in certainly a lower economic status and so far away from any center of showbiz that it all seems so whimsical to dream about someday being, having your name in lights, as they say. And so here we were now after a year and a half of enormous success all over the world. At this point, being lauded as probably the number one band in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and yet the temperature, if you will, within the band was very sad. If you were to take a reading, and mostly people were unhappy. I mean, acting miserable, like everything was wrong and bad. And I couldn't understand that. I felt very vindicated that, my songs were getting played and all the radio stations and, enormous concerts and stuff. It seemed like everything was great. Everything we had dreamed about, certainly I had dreamed about for my whole life. And yet to hear all this sort of negative kind of misery going on. And finally, I began to think that it was sort of like a phenomenon that happens in nature where there's a blue sky,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely brilliant sunny day, but yet miles away somewhere, there's a big rain cloud
Mm.
raining. You can't see it where you are, but the upper atmosphere is blowing all that rain over where you are and dropping it down on you during, you look up, you see rain and you see a bright blue sky. Have you ever seen the rain? It just seemed like we were raining on ourselves, you might say. So that was my way of writing. And also the emotion that was in my heart was, I don't know how to fix this. I
Yeah.
don't know what I can do to make this better.
Yeah. And you left the band. That couldn't have been easy to make that decision back in 1972.
Well, first of all, my brother Tom left.
Yeah.
Um, and that was just very sad to me. It was really the death knell of the whole thing, because we had just had a meeting that, of course, they had summoned me to, and everybody wanted to write songs and create their own musical parts and all that sort of thing. It was kind of a mutiny. And I understood at that time, I guess I can't resist what I considered, I'd been holding it off. I'd been trying to
Mm-hmm.
keep the door shut against this because I really didn't think they were probably qualified, and I thought it was going to lead to sort of career suicide, you might say. And I realized at this moment, at the end of 1970, at this meeting, that I just can't hold it off anymore. I'm going to either have to give in or the band's breaking up right now. So to keep the band together, I acquiesced, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought everything was okay. But then we put out that album, which was Pendulum, with Have You Ever Seen the Rain on it. And about a month later, Tom left the band and
Yeah.
announced it, publicly. That was that. So we
Mm.
kind of limped along for another year and a half or so, and then finally, it was too far gone, you might say,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
when I left. That was a sad day for me.